Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And if you're a true General Hospital fan, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get started with today's video. According to the General Hospital, GH, recap for Thursday, July 23rd, Maxie Jones, Kirsten Storms, was offered a departure explanation before a major bombshell involving Michael Corinthos, Rory Gibson, Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, also planned Drew Caines, Cameron Matheson, tragic end. So here's how the drama unfolded on Thursday's GH episode. While Scout Quartermain, Caden Brenna Tokarski, rehearsed her charity swim in the lake, Drew observed from his wheelchair and covertly moved his hand. Nearby, Michael discounted Alexis Davis's, Nancy Lee Grawn, assertion that Drew would be a different man if he ever recovered. Nina Reeves, Cynthia Watros, attempted to persuade Willow Kane, Caitlin McMullen, that they needed to depart with the children because they were running out of time without the leverage Jack Brennan, Chris McKenna, was meant to provide. Willow refused to flee and discovered Nina had slept with Brennan, which made her unhappy. If they couldn't find a Drew solution, Willow offered that Drew go swimming with Scout while she was in prison. Between that and Alexis' caution not to let Drew's chair get too close to the water's edge, Nina appeared to have a lightbulb moment about perhaps drowning Drew. Cody Bell, Josh Kelly, told Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Vaganos, that Maxie and her children were moving to Australia because Damian Spinelli, Bradford Anderson, had gotten a job there. That meant James West, Easton Wynn, would also be leaving town, but Max Scorpio, John J. York, and Felicia Scorpio, Christina Wagner, didn't want him to leave Cody on bad terms. Although James had earlier vented his frustration on Cody on the Cassius Faison, Ryan Pavey, problem, Cody showed him a video of the new foal at the stables and called him West after James. James responded enthusiastically, his rage having subsided. Cody also returned James' cowboy hat and hugged him, bringing their friendship back on track. Lucy Coe, Lynn Herring, joined Tracy Quartermain, Jane Elliott, and Brooklyn Quartermain, Amanda Seton, at Deception, causing some conflict over Maxie's shares until Michael arrived with an announcement. Maxie trusted Michael to do what was best for Deception, so he acknowledged she had sold her shares to him. Tracy hoped Michael might foster some Quartermain unity, but he maintained that he would do what was best for the company. At the Metro Court Pool, Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, approached Rocco Falconeri, Finn Carr, to confess his knowledge of Ross Cullum's, Andrew Hawks, shooting and offer his assistance. Charlotte Cassadine, Bluesy Burke, also commended Giovanni Gio Palmieri, Giovanni Mazza, for recently saving a youngster from drowning, prompting Emma Scorpio Drake, Braden Brunner, to taunt him about having a fan. Charlotte ended up bickering with Rocco about all of the Danny Morgan, Asher and Tonizan drama, so Gio followed up with her later. When Emma discussed Joe's new recording contract, Charlotte was forced to watch them behave all lovey-dovey. In Laura Collins' Jeannie Francis office, she informed him that Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, is seeking for the lost Ross Cullum, Andrew Hawks, evidence. Dante admitted to destroying it for Rocco's sake and promised to handle the Anna matter. While Sonny was meeting with Laura to discuss Rocco, Anna was confronting Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, about his demotion at the PCPD. Chase admitted his faults, but made it apparent that he did not remove the incriminating Willow traffic camera tape. Anna still believed Chase was a capable detective, so she asked for aid investigating Cassius and Britt Westbourne's Kelly Thiebaud relationship with Cullum, as well as the missing shooting evidence from the pier. Chase was willing to do whatever Anna requested in exchange for the opportunity to work as a detective again. Later, Dante spoke with Anna alone and confirmed that the Cullum shooting proof had gone missing from his watch. Anna knew Dante wasn't sloppy and there had to be a purpose for his behavior, so she advised closing the investigation. Anna also encouraged Dante to get along with Chase because their detective partnership might restart soon. Once Anna was alone, a Peter August, Wes Ramsey hallucination appeared. Anna recognized Dante was protecting Rocco, so Peter suggested she go on now that she knew. Instead, Peter wanted Anna to focus her rage on Cassius and Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thiebaud, whom he blamed for Anna's suffering. Peter told Anna that his brothers resembled him and their father, Caesar Faison, Anders Hove. According to General Hospital spoilers, Anna's retaliation will cause problems down the road, so stay tuned. In the bustling city of Port Charles, the events of this important Thursday were marked by poignant goodbyes, corporate power moves, simmering familial tensions, and dark undercurrents of desperation that threatened to submerge everything. The day started at the gorgeous Coeur d'Alene Lake, where teenage Scout Kane was determined to complete her charity swim across the open water. Her father, Drew Kane, sat in his wheelchair, his body still recuperating from the trauma that had left him paralyzed and mostly silent. As Scout plunged in and powered through her practice laps, a silent miracle occurred. Drew's fingers twitched and clenched into a fist, a tiny sign of progress that went unnoticed by most but foreshadowed the challenges that were ahead. Nearby, Michael Corinthos and Alexis Davis were talking about the uncertain future. Alexis expressed a cautious hope that if Drew fully healed, he would emerge as a changed man, capable of being the father Scout desired. Michael, the skeptic formed by years of confrontation with Drew, pushed back hard. He was skeptical of any shift, knowing Drew's past of deception and ambition all too well. Their discourse was heavy with old grudges and new fears, especially when Scout's joy swelled over. Inside the boathouse, Nina Reeves and her daughter Willow Kane were dealing with their own developing problem. With Drew showing signs of recovery, their advantage was slipping away. Nina persuaded Willow to consider abandoning Port Charles with the children before Jack Brennan could fail to deliver the evidence required to defuse Drew's threat. Willow, adamant and frustrated, refused to run. The tension rose when Willow discovered Nina had slept with Brennan, which made her repulsed and questioned their relationships. "We can't trust him if that's where things stand," she said, her voice tinged with regret. As the swim practice progressed, Scout proudly moved Drew's wheelchair closer to the water's edge to demonstrate her success. Alexis swiftly admonished her not to bring it too close to the lake, a casual comment that sowed a deadly seed in Nina's thoughts. Nina's cheeks lit up with the thought of an accident, a permanent solution to their Drew dilemma by allowing the lake to claim him. It was a terrible moment of moral decline caused by dread and tiredness, demonstrating how far some people were willing to go to defend their divided family. Meanwhile, across town at Bobby's Diner, a more delicate drama unfolded. Cody Bell met down with Molly Lansing Davis and told her that Maxie Jones, her partner Damian Spinelli, and their 3 children, Georgie, James, and Bailey Lou, were leaving Port Charles for Australia. Spinelli had secured an amazing employment position there, and the family had decided it was time for a new beginning. This official exit marked the end of an era for one of the show's most popular Spixie partnerships, which was handled with care to respect real-life circumstances while keeping the door open for potential returns. James West, still resentful of Cody for the Cassius Faison revelations, originally kept his distance when he came with Mac and Felicia Scorpio. Cody's grandparents pushed him to mend fences before the major relocation. Cody, the caring cowboy at heart, took out his phone and showed James a video of a newborn horse at the stables. He even christened the foal West in James' honor. The gesture soothed the boy's fury. Cody replaced James' misplaced cowboy hat, and the two exchanged an emotional hug and a promise of weekly video conversations. "See you around, partner," they murmured in a poignant farewell that made Molly, Mac, and Felicia smile and cry while they watched. It was a wonderful, restorative goodbye that emphasized themes of forgiveness and chosen family. The vibe at Deception Cosmetics was significantly more acrimonious. Tracy Quartermain, Lucy Coe, and Brooklyn Quartermain were shocked by Maxie's quick departure and choice to sell her shares. The arguing became more heated as they discussed the company's future. Enter Michael Corinthos, who revealed a bombshell. Maxie had trusted him to do the right thing, therefore she had sold her shares directly to him. Lucy felt cheated because Maxie had not given her first dibs, whilst Tracy saw an opportunity for Quartermain togetherness. Michael, on the other hand, stated unequivocally that his devotion was to the company's success, not family politics. He offered a bold vision, and with Brooklyn's decisive vote, the power shift was confirmed. Michael now wielded considerable power, paving the way for exciting corporate confrontations in the future. The Metro Court Pool area was brimming with summer excitement and youthful drama. Sonny Corinthos took his grandson Rocco Falconeri aside for a private conversation. Sonny understood the truth about Rocco's role in the Ross Cullum shooting and provided steadfast support. "If you need to talk, I'm here," he informed the child, recognizing the intense anguish of nearly taking a life. Rocco's anguish was evident, a reminder that even in a world of mob ties and huge stakes, the emotional toll on the young is severe. Nearby, Charlotte Cassadine praised Giovanni Gio Palmieri's recent courage in saving a youngster from drowning. Emma Scorpio Drake mocked Gio about his new admirer, but Charlotte's crush was growing. Tensions rose when Charlotte and Rocco argued about Danny Morgan and their tangled family histories, which included Valentine Cassadine. Their sibling rivalry showed underlying tensions about protection, loyalty, and past mistakes. Later, as Emma kissed Gio to celebrate his new recording contract, Charlotte forced a grin, her jealousy boiling beneath the surface. It was typical soap opera teen angst, crushes, rivalries, and the agony of unsaid emotions. Political and personal alliances were put to the test at Laura Collins' office. Laura warned Dante Falconeri that Anna Devane was looking into the missing evidence in the Cullum shooting. Dante admitted that he destroyed it to protect Rocco, using his status as previous commissioner. Laura and Sonny later talked about the situation, drawing on their own rough childhoods, Laura's accidental murder and Sonny's dark past, to empathize with Rocco's suffering. They promised to shepherd him through it together, becoming a unified front of grandparents dedicated to protect the next generation. Anna, now the commissioner, addressed Harrison Chase about his dismissal and the weakened evidence against Willow. She offered him a way back to detective status if he helped look into Cassius, Britt Westbourne, and the missing peer evidence. Chase accepted, hoping for redemption. When Dante met with Anna, she sensed his protective motives without pressing for more information, suggesting that the case should be closed. She also pushed Dante and Chase to work together more effectively, implying that their partnership would resume. Afterward, Anna had a terrifying nightmare of Peter August, who challenged her to turn her fury on Cassius and Britt, portraying them as extensions of his own dark legacy and their father, Caesar Faison. The ghostly experience sparked Anna's inner struggle, foreshadowing disaster and vengeance in the coming episodes. These linked threads created a vibrant tapestry of Port Charles life. Maxie's departure provided closure and new beginnings for her family, a rare happy ending amidst the show's customary turbulence. Michael's corporate strategy altered the power dynamics at Deception, potentially aligning or conflicting with Quartermain objectives. The Drew storyline became more intense with Nina's dark inspiration, upping the stakes of paralysis, custody, and possible murder. Family bonds between grandparents and grandchildren, moms and daughters, siblings and crushes, were tested and sometimes reinforced by vulnerability and support. The program skillfully combined emotional depth and tension. Scout's innocent swim practice stood out starkly against the adult plots whirling about her father. Cody and James' parting expressed warmth and hope, in contrast to Nina's cold contemplation by the sea. Anna's psychological battle with Peter's spirit heightened the spooky elements of the police procedural. As the sun fell over Port Charles, observers waited to see what would happen. Will Nina go through on her fatal plan, or will Drew's recovery complicate matters even more? How will Michael use his new power at Deception? Will Anna's redirected vengeance trap Britt and Cassius? And how would the community deal with Maxie, Spinelli, and the kids' absence, which would undoubtedly leave a vacuum in friendships and storylines for months? The beauty of General Hospital rests in its multiple tales, in which personal growth, corporate intrigue, romantic entanglements, and life-changing decisions collide on a regular basis. This Thursday's episode delivered precisely that, a gratifying mix of resolution, cliffhangers, and character-driven drama that keeps viewers interested in the ever-changing story. In the bustling city of Port Charles, the latest episode of General Hospital unfolded with a combination of poignant farewells, corporate power moves, and simmering tensions that threatened to explode into something far more dangerous. The episode revolved around two key themes: the official departure of a cherished family to new horizons in Australia, and a sinister scheme forming around Drew Kane that hinted at lethal intentions. The day began with a scene of family support and calm observation on Quatermain Lake. Scout Kane was doing her first freshwater swim practice across the vast waters, a moment filled with support from her loved ones. Alexis Davis, Michael Corinthos, Nina Reeves, Willow Tate, and Drew himself, in his wheelchair, gathered to cheer her on. Scout's dedication shone through as she surged through the swim, ultimately winning and beating her target time. The pride on her face was apparent, especially as she sought approval from her father. However, beneath the surface of the joy, darker undercurrents arose. Nina and Willow slipped into the boathouse for a private discussion, their voices full with dread. Drew was improving day by day, but his condition hindered their plans. Time was running out for Jack Brennan to produce the critical evidence from his black box that would counter Drew's influence. Nina, ever the strategist with a flair for the spectacular, proposed a drastic solution to Willow. Perhaps it was time to take the children and escape. Willow, on the other hand, was certain that if Brennan failed to deliver, they should pursue other options. The debate took a personal turn when Willow discovered that her mother had been deeply engaged with Brennan, which revolted her and made her doubt their cooperation. Trust was eroding, even inside families. Meanwhile, on the dock, Alexis and Michael had an open chat concerning Drew's future. Alexis expressed optimism that Drew will come out of his ordeal a transformed and better guy for Scout. Michael, on the other hand, was far more dubious, his words dripping with doubt about any actual metamorphosis. Drew, unbeknownst to them, or so they thought, heard every sentence. His fingers tightened into a fist in a tiny but telling bodily reaction, indicating that his intellect, if not his body, remained alert and aware of the betrayals swirling around him. The anxiety reached its zenith when Rocco arrived barely in time to catch the end of Scout's swim. She teased him for missing it, but then offered him to time her future practices. Scout, eager to share her accomplishment, turned Drew's wheelchair to face the lake more directly. Alexis swiftly admonished her not to place the chair too close to the water's edge, a harmless statement that seemed to light a fire in Nina's eyes. Nina's visage changed as a grim, calculated thought took root, one that included the very real potential of Drew drowning in the Quatermain Lake. The drowning plot was no longer just idle speculation. Nina was visibly considering turning it into a sad reality to protect her kid and their secrets. Moving on to the world of business and friendship, the Deception Cosmetics office became a hub of surprises and shifting alliances. Tracy Quatermain, Lucy Coe, and Brooklyn Quatermain were still grieving from Maxie Jones' unexpected departure from the organization. Maxie had been a pillar of deception, and her departure left a vacuum that felt both abrupt and permanent. Michael Corinthos walked into the chaos and revealed that he now owned Maxie's interests in the company. Lucy felt visibly betrayed, bemoaning that Maxie had not given her the first chance to purchase them. Tracy, on the other hand, sensed a chance and boasted about forging a cohesive Quatermain voting bloc with Michael and Brooklyn. Michael, on the other hand, stated unequivocally that his decisions will put the company's interests ahead of familial devotion. He presented a clear vision for Deception's future that resonated with Brooklyn. She gave the crucial vote in support of his ideas, effectively outvoting a disgruntled Lucy and Tracy. Michael's power dynamics had moved substantially in his favor, solidifying his position in Port Charles's business landscape. This maneuver not only solidified his status, but also highlighted the repercussions of Maxie's departure. The emotional impact of Maxie's departure was felt most strongly at Bobby's Diner. Cody Bell got down with Molly Lansing Davis and announced that Maxie, Damian Spinelli, and their children Georgie, James, and Bailey Lou were moving to Australia. Spinelli had found an amazing work opportunity there that was too wonderful to pass up, and the family was preparing to leave Port Charles the next night. They were itching to get out, as Cody described it, and saw the relocation as a new beginning rather than a sorrowful goodbye. James entered the diner with Max Scorpio and Felicia Jones, still upset with Cody for sharing the bad news about Cassius earlier. The young guy initially disregarded Cody, still reeling from betrayal. Molly helped distract James at the counter, while Mac and Felicia gently persuaded Cody to mend fences before the family left. Cody rose to the moment admirably. He showed James a video of a newborn horse at the stables, whom he planned to call West in James' honor, and returned the cowboy hat that the youngster had left behind in fury. The gesture dissolved the ice. As Molly, Mac, and Felicia watched with bittersweet smiles, James and Cody shared a touching moment, promising weekly video calls and sealing their bond with a classic cowboy farewell. "See you around, partner." It was a heartfelt send-off that honored Maxie's family's connections in Port Charles while wishing them luck on their Australian journey. This leaving plotline appropriately acknowledged actress Kirsten Storm's lengthy absence from the show. Storms has been focusing on personal concerns in Tennessee since March, and the authors devised a gentle approach to say goodbye to the Spixie family without permanently closing the door. Fans praised the smart treatment, seeing it as a happily ever after for now that allowed for future returns without a recast. Maxie's selling of her Deception shares to Michael Neatley concluded any loose business ends. Personal dramas played out elsewhere in Port Charles. Sonny Corinthos stopped into the Metro Court pool to check on his grandson Rocco, who worked as a pool attendant. Sonny offered support after learning of Rocco's recent problems with Cullum, resulting in a heartfelt grandfather-grandson interaction. Gio talked to Emma about his musical ambitions while expressing his devotion to his lifeguard duties until a substitute could be located. Charlotte's burgeoning feelings for Gio became clear when she gushed about his heroic rescue of a little kid, while Emma jokingly mocked him about the attention. Charlotte felt jealous as she watched Emma and Gio kiss, forcing a fake grin to hide her feelings.